All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim. We are with you until 6 p.m. here tonight. When this Padres game goes final, you will hear Mike Schilt here first, arguably, but you'll hear Mike Schilt. When this game ends, Padres, as Jim just told you, are trailing right now. Oakland trying to complete their first three-game sweep of the year, their first sweep of any kind, trailing in the 7-3-2. When it goes final, we will hear from Mike Schilt. We do have giveaways today. We'll give away tickets to the San Diego County Fair. We'll give away tickets to see Third Eye Blind as well. We'll get into, obviously everything going on in this series. We'll get into the Jerry West sad news that we heard earlier today with him passing away at the age of 86. This series in general, where the Padres have taken the first two games, this is deja vu all over again. They've done this 5 or 6 times this year. They're trying to complete a sweep. You say, what's the big deal, guys? Like, if they sweep the series, win the series. Is it really that big of a deal, Jim? If they sweep it, they're 2 games over. If they don't, they're 500, but they still win the series. But don't you feel like psychologically, from the Padres' perspective, it's got to be a big deal? You have to be thinking about it. You've played 70-something games. You're the only team in baseball without a sweep. Is there something more to it than just one game here today for the Padres to try to finish off the sweep?
It's a psychological thing, because not having a sweep this deep into the season, they're the only team in baseball that hasn't had it, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy, yes.
And even the freaking White Sox have a sweep. The Rockies have a sweep. The Angels have a sweep. The Oakland A's have a sweep. The Padres are the only team that don't have a sweep. And to not have a sweep and to not have a winning streak longer than 4 games this year.
4 games is their longest.
And be above 500, one of only, I think, 12 or 13 teams in baseball to be above 500.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain. It really is. Because on one hand, this team plays like the last 2 nights and 4 out of the 6 games so far on this homestand, they played like a really, really good team. You watch this team sometimes and you go, how are they 500? Or how are they only game over 500? Or how are they a game under 500? But then you watch them like today, and the game is far from over, right? This game is far from over. Stephen Cole could become the hero that Mike Schultz always envisioned to have on his baseball team.
And they've been good in come from behind situations. They've had some late rallies.
14 come from behind victories this season.
Yep.
So who knows? The sweep is still
absolutely
in striking distance for them. But like this is an example today, if they don't get it done, of why they are where they are and why it's very hard to trust this team. And if they do pull off the sweep today and come from behind, then you're sitting there, and we'll probably be staying, come here another hour or so. Did they turn a corner? Did they get that little monkey off the back and it's like last year we were waiting all year long for them to finally get that extra inning victory, and it came in like it came in like the last series of the year. They went back-to-back games and extra innings.
Yeah, I just think that to that point, of course it's only one game and the season isn't made by this. If they come from behind and win in walk-off fashion again, that's great, and they would be 2 games over 500. That doesn't really necessarily mean anything in New York, or does it? Is this some type of hurdle? Because they're going to New York to take it. I'm saying, does it carry over? Like you say, is it a turning point? Does it have a carryover effect? I don't think it's as simple as that. Or is there something there? It's been a rough 24 hours. Not really, actually. I've just been dealing with something.
You okay?
Is there something to it there? If you clear this hurdle, you can really get going. We finally swept someone. We did something we were supposed to do. We beat up on a lesser opponent. We beat another left-handed starter. All these things that we've been saying about the Padres, are they checking some of these boxes? The other thing I was thinking about on my ride in, because, I'm thinking. I'm listening to Darren. I'm thinking.
Oh, nice.
I was thinking about this. Remember the story of the offseason was Juan Soto, right? You move Juan Soto. It's a massive storyline. One of the biggest moves in baseball, right? Juan Soto goes to the Yankees. It's huge. And you look at the Yankees and what Juan Soto has done, and you're thinking, what if the move doesn't happen? Or what if they do make the move? What if the move has just worked out well for both sides? Soto, it's been the right fit, clearly, at this point. It's worked out well. Michael King, now again, his line isn't as good as it should have been, but he struck out 12 today. He's just been very effective. He's not the best pitcher in baseball, but his numbers are very good. He's fit in very well. The other pieces we'll see about the Vasquez's and the Burritos. Higashioka, obviously, yesterday had a very big moment. But maybe it's just Like, we always want a winner and a loser. Oh, the Yankees won the Soto deal. Oh, the Padres lost the Soto deal. Maybe it's going to work out for both teams. Is that so controversial to say? It's worked out for the Yankees. Padres have a nice young starter, Michael King, under control through next year. He pitched well again here today. Maybe it worked. Maybe it was meant for both teams.
How dare you not immediately say the Padres won the trade after the last 2 nights?
I'm saying they're a winner. They're one of 2 winners, I'm saying, maybe in the trade.
I think Randy Vasquez of late has been a pretty important piece of this team.
Sure.
Because with Joe going down and Darvish going down, they're very thin in the minor leagues. You traded away Drew Thorpe to get Dylan Cease.
That's right.
And Adam Major is, we'll see.
Yep.
But I think Randy Vasquez has been a pretty important piece to the puzzle here in the rotation of late. So that's a check. That's a good positive.
Is it a boom check?
No, not a
It's
boom
a check.
check. It's a check. Johnny Brito,
boom check.
not even really a check.
Okay.
Michael King, boom check.
It's a boom check.
It's
He's
a boom
been
check.
solid. Yeah,
it's a
he's
boom
been
check.
good. He's been good.
Kyle Higashioka, to me, borderline boom check, even though he's a backup catcher, but he won you a game last night.
He's like, who was the catcher that had the 6 walk-offs 2 years ago?
Alfaro.
Alfaro.
Yeah, Alfaro.
Like, that's meaningful.
Jorge Alfaro.
That's meaningful. You don't want he's not hitting 310 and making 100 starts, but if he has a couple of big hits, he's hit more home runs this year, Kyle Higashioka, than Trent Grisham hit last year for the Padres.
Oof,
okay.
Wow.
So, like he said, I'm saying he's had some moments here recently.
Did you know? I think you did.
Okay.
That after last night, Kyle Higashioka has accumulated more walk-off home runs in his time with the Padres
than Juan Soto?
Are
we going to play that game?
No, we're not.
But that's what I'm
We're
saying.
not those people because we respect and we know how good of a player Juan Soto is.
Exactly.
And we're not haters.
And that's why I'm willing to say, for as good as Juan Soto is, and I hope it works out. I mean, nobody really wants to see him win the American League MVP in a World Series with the Yankees this year. That's a little odd off a trade, but
he's not going to win it because his teammate will.
Fair. He's hit 25 home runs. His teammate Aaron Judge or Arson Judge, whatever his name is. But like, I'm all for it working out in Soto. I have no ill will. I enjoyed watching him play here. I wish it would have worked out a little more seamlessly. It worked out, but not perfectly. So I hope he succeeds. And then on the opposite side of the coin, okay, so the Padres needed to make a move to address areas of need. It was a little controversial in the moment. I wasn't necessarily for, hey, let's address areas of need. We need more than Juan Soto to win. But truth be told, that might have been accurate. We see what Jerkson Profar's done. Michael King in a half season's got a 3.5 ERA. That's very good. So is he going to keep that up? As a guy that hasn't thrown 150 innings in his career, we'll see. But I like what I've seen from Michael King, and I can absolutely justify it right now. If I'm AJ Preller, I can say, you know what? I lowered payroll. I addressed some needs. We're competing for a playoff spot. I can live with it. That's what I would say.
And rarely do you get that instance where both teams feel content with the trades.
Right.
In this case, I think the Yankees are over the moon with having Juan Soto on their team.
They got a better team, better record.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the best team in the American League. I think they're probably, you could argue, the best team in
baseball.
Mm-hmm. Is that all because of Juan Soto?
No, of course not.
No, but I mean, he's a huge part of that. And I think from the Padres' perspective, while, yeah, it sucks to lose Juan Soto, one of the best players in the game, they can, like you said, view it from a standpoint of, well, we are in playoff contention. We have the pieces that we got back from Juan Soto all contributing. And we feel pretty decent that with the players we have from that trade, and also using Drew Thorpe to get Dylan Cease in the trade with the White Sox, you know, is another factor into the Juan Soto trade as well. So, yeah, if you want to put Dylan Cease in the mix with like the moves that were made in the Soto trade, then absolutely. And you could say that you feel damn good about the production that you've got out of the players that you essentially traded and then traded for, all because of Juan Soto. And this is not an indictment on that. This is not saying Juan Soto sucks like other people in town who know nothing about baseball. But this is just saying, like you said, the players that are here from that whole trade and trades are all pretty much contributing in a, not a huge way, but in their own way and helping the team out and helping the team win.
And like, consider this. Like, I think if I'm AJ Preller and I'm being truthful about it, like heading into the season, I'm doing what I need to put my team in a position to earn a wild card spot, right? Like AJ Preller, when he puts his head on the pillow in March, isn't thinking, man, I'm going to vie with the Dodgers heading into the year. I got a team that can win 100 games. That's not what he's thinking.
He doesn't sleep though, John. He doesn't put his head on a pillow.
True.
Actually.
Well, he puts his head on the pillow and watches Netflix.
I think he sleeps standing up with the phone
Probably
in his hand.
true. But when he went to sleep to start the season, he said, listen, can I field a roster that can compete for a wild card spot? And that we'll find out. But when Brian Cashman put his head on the pillow, he wasn't trying to be the Padres, which was just get in, third wild card, and see what happens. By the way, you can win a World Series doing that. But Brian Cashman in New York is trying to put together a 100-game winner that wins the American League East, goes to a World Series, and wins it. Like, that's the directive from the organization, from Hal Steinbrenner. Win the World Series. The directive here under Eric Katsenda heading into the year is not win the World Series. The directive here is get into the party. That's how I see it. So it's like, again, the Yankees had their goals. They got to win 100 games. They got to be relevant all year. They got to vie for a World Series. Padres have, I hate to say it this way, but isn't it fair to say this as well? They have different goals. They got to get into the postseason. What happens from there, so be it. But they got to get into the postseason.
Well, I mean, you heard Eric Katsenda say at the beginning of the year, along with AJ Preller, they are expecting to compete for World Series championships.
Did he say that? Because I only remember the one line I remember is the accountability line.
Well, there was also a statement from Eric Katsenda, John, that said
when he took over.
Yes, that said,
I do remember that
we are here to carry out the vision of Peter Seidler, which is to compete and vie to win our first World Series championship in franchise history.
Now, I don't know if he said that. Someone put it out, but wouldn't you argue though, Jim? We've said this a lot in today's baseball. If you get in, can't you sell that line? If you get in at 82-80, can't you at least sell? Whether we like it or not, can't you sell? We're vying. I know I know it's hard to say that, but it's kind of true, isn't it?
I'll just say this: not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me.
No, I hear you.
If you want to be that person out there, and if you want to be John, that's totally fine.
I'm okay.
I personally, if this team made it at 82-80,
and they get swept,
that's just not it for me. That's not good enough. That's not something where I can sit here and be like, they made 3 blockbuster deals during the year.
2 so far.
They have committed hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to a lot of players, but yet we're sitting here and we're gonna praise an 82-80 team that got in the postseason because the National League collectively all sucked.
Yeah, no, that's why I would actually say there's 2 right opinions there. Like, you're going to get a lot of people saying good year. Agreed? You'll get people.
Oh, my God, you'll get a lot. Yeah.
But you'll also get critics, and we'll both be on that side probably in the moment. If that plays out, I'll be on Team Jim. If they go 82-80, I'll be excited that they're in. We'll talk about it. But if they then go and make it up to Milwaukee or wherever, lose 2 games, and they're done, we'll then spin it around. Like, was this good enough? 82-80, 0-2 in the postseason, 82-82 overall, all these blockbuster moves.
Oh, don't get me wrong. They make it in at 82-80. I'm all in. Like, it is a blank slate from there. What do you guys do in the postseason? Rooting for this team to go as deep as they possibly can. But once their run's over, whenever that is, hopefully it would be with a World Series, hoisting a World Series. Like, that's when for me at least, fully say, defend like this for me, how I feel, this and that. You know, you make it 82-80, make the World Series. We obviously are not going to sit here. Me personally, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that wasn't good enough because you only won 82 games in the regular season.
Well, of course not. You're saying if they make the World Series or win it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that becomes an afterthought.
Yeah, afterthought. Like, wow, this team turned it on. And it's going to be remembered as a very special, odd, weird, loving team.
I go back to, Darren made a great point. I don't know if it was on air or off air. We talked about it maybe during a fusion or off air. Like, when the New York Giants beat the undefeated Patriots,
no one talks about a 9-7 season.
They didn't, but also Darren made a great point. It's a 1-game series in football. Yeah. It doesn't mean the Giants are like truly the best National Football League team of the year.
It's a tournament.
But they took advantage of an opportunity in a tournament and they won it.
Yeah, that's what the playoffs are in every sports tournament.
Yeah, and that in like the US, like that's what flies. Like we have the tournaments, and if the Giants won the Super Bowl over an 18-0 team, well, the Giants won the Super Bowl. And we live in a world where we say the Giants were better than the Patriots. And on that given day, they were. So, yes, The thing is, we don't know until it plays out. That's the beauty of sports. We don't know. If they get in an 82 and 80 and make a World Series, it's a lot different than if they get in an 82 and 80 and lose 2 games to the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's obviously the big picture. The here and now.
What's the here and now?
The here and now, John, is they're 1 game over 500. They've played better of late after that horrible 5-game losing streak.
Right. Yeah, they've won 4 or 5.
Won 4 or 5. They've secured another series victory versus the A's, regardless of what happens today. They've secured a winning homestand, regardless of what happens today, which I'm sure will be viewed as like a major positive from Schulte.
Series win, did you say?
I did say series
win. But he's a big series guy.
Big series guy. But even from Schulte, the message was being more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've done so far this series, which, again, still a lot of time.
Yeah, still can win this game. They're trailing 3-2.
They have shown traits of what good teams do. And yes, I know they're playing the Oakland A's, but the Padres are taking and have taken advantage of the miscues that the A's have made this series. And that's what good teams do.
Yes.
Regardless of who you play. I don't care if you're playing the Savannah Bananas, even though they beat everybody and they're the greatest team in the history of sport.
Mm-hmm.
But if the other team makes errors, case in point, what's happening right now, you got to capitalize on those. And if you do, that's what good teams more often than not, do in games. And that's why you look at the end of the year, be like, man, they beat up on a lot of bad teams. Yeah, because a lot of bad teams make mistakes and those teams take advantage of them. Like the Dodgers. I'm sure if you look at the Dodgers record over teams under 500 the last decade, it would be an insane number.
Insane.
Because you know why? They take advantage of all the mistakes those bad teams make, and they don't miss ever.
Yeah, and we can't obviously say that about the Padres even for this season, even though we can say it, I would say, potentially like yesterday. Like yesterday, the A's made a mental error, and the Padres capitalized for 3 runs because the pitcher didn't cover first base. Like, that's a credit to the Padres. But are they consistently doing that is the question. Like, did they take advantage of opportunities against the Angels? I don't even know. I think they gave the Angels more opportunities than the Angels gave them. Same thing against the Rockies. So at some point, for us to change this conversation from like, oh, are they going to go 82 and 80 or not? At some point, they're going to have to sweep a team like the Oakland A's. And we'll find out if today's that day or not. At some point, they're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
To change the conversation, they got to go show us they're capable of being 6 games over 500 or winning 9 of 10.
I mean, as I said it first last night, nobody said it before me.
Let me hear it. Let me hear this.
No cap tipping today.
Ooh.
No cap tipping.
So where did you think of that? Like when that came out of your brain?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just sitting on my couch. Game ended. And I just had a crazy thought. Like, you know what? Tomorrow,
if they lose,
we're not. There's no cap tip in here.
Let me ask you this: if they lose this game, they're heading to the 8th inning. This is serious.
Yeah.
They're heading to the 8th inning. It's 3-2. They might win. They might lose. But if they lose this game 3-2 or whatever the score, will Mike Schilt be tipping his cap?
Yes.
Even though the circumstance that played out, blowing quote unquote a 2-0 lead with Michael King. As in, who are you tipping your cap to?
I take offense to you saying that we blew
exactly.
the game and the
but
lead.
You know what I mean? It's not like you faced a starter that went 6 shutout innings. You had the lead. So are who are you tipping your cap to? I guess the A's bullpen in that scenario?
That's a good question.
But he might say it.
Maybe. It's, again, not over yet. The Mason Miller does loom large here for the 9th inning. So
future Padre Mason Miller?
Maybe future Padre Mason Miller. If you want to give up a top prospect, John, you're not giving up Action Jackson after his big home run today.
No. But we're going to have that conversation in the 4 o'clock hour because the Padres are rumored or speculated to be in the market for a right-handed reliever. Yes. Guess who has a right arm? Mason Miller.
Well, everyone has a right arm, John.
Well, most people do, but
except for that one guy.
Mason Miller throws with his right arm.
Guess who has a right arm? I do.
So we'll see. Mason Miller, who's been a dominant closer for the A's, will the Padres get involved there with another quote-unquote blockbuster move between now and the trade deadline? All right, we're just underway. We'll hear from Mike Schilt when this game goes final. They're heading to the 8th inning. On the other side, just hours before tip-off of Game 3 of the NBA Finals, remembering Jerry West and looking ahead to what's on the line tonight for the Dallas Mavericks, essentially a must-win, right? Remembering Jerry West, looking ahead to Game 3 tonight between the Mavericks and the Celtics, Plus, great giveaways for you today. 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, tickets to Third Eye Blind. We're with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, on the other side, we're getting you ready for Game 3 of the NBA Finals, plus remembering Jerry West. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Macy's. Padres A's, third game of the series, final game of the series. Padres looking for their first sweep of the season. But right now, the Oakland A's lead the Padres 4-2 in the top of the 8th inning. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight in Dallas. Celtics lead the series 2-0. Pretty much a must-win game for the Mavs. And sad news today in the NBA world, Jerry West, the logo, passed away today at the age of 86. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder. In just a couple of clicks, you'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
Padres A's game goes final. We'll hear from Mike Schilt right here on San Diego Sports 760. It wasn't, I mean, when was it that Bill Walton passed? Just within the last 10 days, 15 days?
Last week, maybe?
So,
Yes, I think.
okay, so that was very recently. But remember the conversation we had when Walton passed? We said that different people will remember him in different ways based on a number of factors, right? Maybe if you were younger, him as a broadcaster. If you're older, him as a player. There's a lot. Like Bill Walton had like a lot of different elements to him as an individual, whether it was a player, a broadcaster, an individual, right? Humanitarian. But I feel similarly about Jerry West because for me, for example, Jerry West, you know him as the iconic player and you know him as the logo for the NBA, but I think about him as an executive. I think about like the summer of 96. I'm in high school. They trade for Kobe, right? Like truly in my high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like a day later, they signed Shaq. So like there's this like week, I remember it vividly, and a whole dynasty starts. So like 1996, Kobe, Shaq, Jerry West.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about this absurd legacy as an executive. Now, again, I'm too young, you are too, to understand his impact like as a player. We're all aware of it. But like, again, it's another example of someone like has multiple careers. Amazing player, amazing executive. So that's my point. Like, I don't know him as a player. I know his like imprint on the league, but I think about him as this brilliant, undeniably good executive that basically started like a zillion dynasties, including that late 90s, early 2000s Lakers dynasty with Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, I'm with you. The only thing that I think of when I think of Jerry West is the executive.
Yeah.
I'm only 35.
Yeah.
I never saw him, only YouTube clips and highlights, definitely. Right? But to me, Jerry West as a player is me having to go to his basketball reference page to look at his stats. And some of his stats, especially his final stats, even though he went 1-8 in the finals, are incredible.
All the losses to the Celtics, right? Until they finally got over the hump at some point.
Lost 7 straight, or 8 straight. 7 straight.
That's crazy.
There we go. 7 or 8 straight finals before winning one against the New York Knicks, by the way, because they lost 7 straight to
the Celtics.
The Celtics. They lost the Willis Reed year to the Knicks, and then they finally got over that hump. And that was ironically Jerry's, I think, like least points scored per game in a finals, which was, I think he averaged 20 points a game in that finals, and they won it. And he was the only player ever to this day to still win a finals MVP on a losing team, which is incredible.
So this is okay. So I'm looking at 1972. They get over the hump.
Yes.
And they beat the Knicks.
Yes.
After all the failures.
Right. And okay. I did see something pretty funny on Twitter today. Jerry West can't stand watching the Celtics win another championship. Sure. Said, I'm out.
Right. Exactly. Because they're up 2-0.
Right.
The Celtics were his thorn for his whole career.
So the Jerry West executive that I remember the most, from the Lakers years, from the Grizzlies years. You forget about the Grizzlies.
Really good teams, I know.
To the Warriors years, which you don't remember.
What about the Clippers years?
Which now to the Clippers years. And if you look at all 4 stops, he may have gone somewhere else. I don't think so, but he may have. Lakers built that dynasty up. Kobe got Shaq. I mean, one of the best weeks ever for an executive in the history of the sport.
Isn't that amazing?
Trade for Kobe, and then sign the biggest free agent at the time, Shaq.
It was like back to back.
It was right there.
Amazing, yeah.
Then get Phil.
Yep.
And then the dynasty of the Lakers. Then he goes to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, like who?
Huh?
Yep.
Or was it the Vancouver Grizzlies at the time?
No, it was Memphis.
It was Memphis.
Yep.
And then he gets Pau Gasol. turns that into a winning
winner,
organization. You're like, what? And he trades. I think it was he was a part of the trade for Pau Gasol to, if I'm not mistaken, to the Lakers. And everyone's like, oh, Jerry did a solid for the Lakers.
Right.
Well, he got Marc Gasol back and then kept the Grizzlies as a winner. And then he goes to the Warriors as kind of an advisor, executive there, not the GM, right? People forget the Warriors were this close to trading away Klay Thompson for Kevin Love. And the one person who said, you cannot trade this guy was Jerry West.
Should have done it.
And then the KD year, right? When they got KD, there's a whole story by Michael Thompson up in the Bay Area about how Jerry West called Kevin Durant and pretty much was the closer there to get KD to come to the Warriors. And then you go to the Clippers and Kawhi comes there, Paul George. Basically, my point is he is the ultimate, most respected basketball mind, I think, ever in the game of basketball.
I agree with you. I think you said it really well. I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes when you acquire a player, you get fortunate, right? Like, as in you don't necessarily know what you're getting, but Jerry West had such an eye for it. Be like, I would never say, hey, he got fortunate trading for Kobe Bryant. No, it was a draft night deal. So, like, he started something that very night. Like, we all know with the benefit of hindsight what Kobe Bryant became, a 5-time champ, one of the great scorers in the history of the league, one of the great players in the history of the league. But he bet on nobody had any clue who this kid was. I mean, no one had any idea.
High school kid?
17-year-old
Kobe
is going to be the face of a Lakers franchise that wins 5 titles. Now, Shaq plays a huge role, but like, that's unbelievable. And then to go get Shaq that's some of the most fascinating years in NBA history, and the fascinating seasons and storylines are the Lakers late 90s, early 2000s. Are they not? Shaq and Kobe?
No, there needs to be more documentaries on that whole time period. And I think there was an article, I think I saw it today, just because there's a lot of Jerry West stuff going out now, is that he went to Mr. Buss and was like, we have the best player in the draft, the Kobe year.
Right.
He's like, we just traded for the best player in the draft. His eye for talent and was again probably the best ever in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, I feel like a Pat Riley in like recent years would take on that, like, hey, he's done everything to a very high level, like,
but Pat,
coach, executive.
How many places? Okay, now Pat was the coach, obviously, for like a lot of teams. But how long has he been with Miami?
Long time, right?
Long time.
Jerry West, I mean, he went to he didn't stay for decades on decades with one team.
True.
He was with the Lakers for a long time, no doubt about it. But everywhere he went, that team won. Regardless of what role he had, his voice was so powerful inside that organization that those organizations, because of his voice, just became winners.
Yeah, that is hard to do. It's a good point. Like, you could say you're right. Like, Miami has just been good under Riley, but then again, it's only one stop. Like, could he do the same thing in, I'm making it up, Philadelphia or Memphis?
Yeah.
Or with the Clippers?
And that's what Jerry West did.
Was able to do.
He was as equally as good of a basketball player as he was as a talent evaluator, as he was as an executive and a GM.
Yeah,
he was great in everything he did. And it's very hard to find somebody in a individual sport that you could say player, executive, like coach, talent evaluator, advisor, great in everything.
Because think about, like, Michael Jordan,
horrible owner.
Thank you. Like Larry Bird, there were some highs and lows.
He's a good coach. He made the team as a finals.
I know. But I'm saying, like, there's a lot of examples. I'm trying to think of other examples. Like, there's a lot of examples of Hall of Famers in sports that then get into coaching or being executives.
How about
this? Don't have near the level of success.
How about Derek Jeter? And
Derek Jeter's a great example. A great example.
Hall of Fame player, and he fizzled out as the Marlins owner.
Yes. By the way, an update in the Padres-A's game is a 2-out, 2-run home run from Donovan Solano, his second homer of the day, to tie the score at 4.
Xander who?
After a Manny Machado strikeout, Donovan Solano to straightaway center field has tied the score at 4 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Did Tatis get on?
Yeah, he walked. Machado struck out, and then Solano, his second homer of the day, his third of the season. He's playing for Jerks and Profar. right? Profar gets a day off because of his knee. Donovan Solano has had 2 huge hits in this game, none bigger than this one.
Wow.
Just over the center field wall. And they are tied at 4 down at Petco Park. All right. On the other side, we continue to, we'll get you ready for game 3 of the NBA Finals because it is a must win tonight, isn't it? For the Dallas Mavericks at home. When this game goes final, you'll hear from Mike Schilt. Will the Padres earn their first sweep or not? They're all even after falling behind 4-2. They've gotten even in the 8th against the A's. Stay with us. It's Jon and Jim. All right, an update from Petco Park, Padres A's, plus getting you ready for Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. That's next. A's in the ninth. Robert Suarez, Mason Miller. Is that his first name? Robert.
It was Mason Miller. He's about to be a Padre here.
That's right. We might see both Robert Suarez and Mason Miller in the ninth. Petco Park in a 4-4 game. So when this thing goes final, we'll hear from Schulte, the manager of the Padres, Mike Schilt.
I can what's going to be talked about.
Oh, a ton.
However they win this game will be talked about.
Well, Donovan Solano is going to have
Donovan Solano's going to
small statue.
Yes or no? Is he going to get offended by someone's question?
if they lose.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. So it's a good one. 4-4 Padres and A's. Now, the update from Game 3 of the NBA Finals is Kristaps Porzingis is out. He is out for Boston. Now, Dallas is a favorite. Something with 2 or 3 points at home. Gotta have it. There's no path to winning the NBA Finals falling behind 3-0. There's ever done it
No team's ever done it.
in any round in the NBA from 3-0. So it's a must win.
There's been a couple 3-1s.
Oh, yeah, I think there was one. I remember a year. Tell me if you remember this. The Warriors. This was a really good team. They had like 70-something wins. And it was 3-1. I want to say 2 of the games were Golden State. So here's Cleveland with like Kyrie Irving.
LeBron cried to the league.
Right. And then do you remember game 7? Does that one hurt more than the others are like good?
Balls.
Like, does that one hurt more than the other one?
That's over. Never mind.
Does that hurt more than the wins are like opposite hurting?
I mean, I forget about it because they won right after that. And then you also had 2022 when Steph went crazy versus the Celtics. So that kind of also like negates it a little bit. I mean, they could have obviously more, but at the same time, if 2015 was their only championship and then 2016 when they lost 3-1 and then never won a championship again, then yeah, it would piss me off. But it doesn't really like affect me that much just because they won 3 more after.
So, okay, here's the question. What's the impact of the Porzingis injury? Okay, like does this change the entire series? Is he out for the game or the series?
Game tonight.
But he's got this. I mean, do we think it could be more than that?
Yeah, because they said he's questionable for the rest of the series.
Okay. So what impact is this going to have?
I think it's going to have a big impact.
All right, so we might get a. I mean, again, Dallas is winning tonight.
You think so?
Yes, because like they just got to. You're at home. Boston shorthanded, so to speak. Just got to.
If they win tonight, I think they're going back to Boston 2-2.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I'm with you.
And if not, I think Mavericks will win game 5 and then Celtics will close it. Or sorry, they'll win game 4 and then Celtics will close this out game 5 at home. 4-1 series win.
Right.
But it's all about tonight. It's all about tonight.
Is this, Brent, you have it? Is this where they go Wednesday, Sunday here?
Why?
Like this is that's what I was going to say about Porzingis. I mean, there's so much time that it affords players to come back from injury potentially, and I don't know the extent of this injury.
No, Friday.
Oh, they go Wednesday, Friday, Sunday?
Wednesday, Friday, Monday.
Wow.
Wednesday, Friday, Monday,
and
Thursday,
Sunday.
Yeah.
So they'll stretch this thing out.
They give you time, and frankly, I'm okay with it because they're giving opportunities for potentially guys that are injured time to play in the finals. Like if they played back to back and then, or if they played like with 1 day off, that's hard if guys are injured to get back out there to play. So I like that. I just don't like how that no matter what, the finals is set on a certain day. So the sweeps, it's like
you have to wait the 10 days.
But it's a TV thing, and so whatever.
So again, it's game 3 tonight. 5:30 is the tip time. Celtics can stranglehold this series away with a victory. Dallas trying to get back into it. Just from a viewing perspective, I just want Dallas to win. You know, like as an unbiased observer, I just want a good. I don't want a 4-game sweep. We waited 10 days for this thing.
Yeah, you got a potential, not boring NBA Finals, but it could turn into maybe a boring NBA Finals and also Stanley Cup Final.
Is that boring?
You got the Florida Panthers 2-0 lead over the Edmonton Oilers. And you're
Does that surprise you? Off the Oilers' magical run to the Cup?
Are you disappointed by the Oilers' power play?
I'm disappointed that the Oilers super fan was not seen in Florida. But hopefully she'll be seen in Edmonton.
I have no idea what you're talking about. The Padres are trying to do something today that they didn't do a year ago, which would be back-to-back walk-offs. Yesterday had Higashioka. If they're winning today, I can assure you this, it'll be in walk-off fashion.
How all in will you be if they walk it off versus Mason Miller right here?
Very all in. So this is interesting. So we saw Robert Suarez work a scoreless top of the 9th inning. Now Mason Miller comes on. He's had these dominant numbers for this team that's clearly out of it. One of the big storylines. He's got. I know he's actually allowed some runs here recently.
Suarez is like ERA is like 0.2.
One of the big storylines I think at the deadline is: are the A's actually going to move Mason Miller, who's controllable for a long time? They obviously have a future that ultimately is going to be like in Sacramento or Las Vegas. Is this a piece you're going to move? Like he's the most recognizable Oakland A. You're going to move him?
Yeah, but when you're going to lose like 100 games,
what's the value of a
for
closer?
The next 3 years? Yeah, what the hell you need a closer
you're right.
for?
You're right. So maybe they strike when the price is as good as it's going to get, and they do move him. It would make sense to move him.
He's going to be their only all-star too. Oh, Rooker. I mean,
well, somebody has to be.
Someone has to be.
It's Miller or Rooker, and I think it's probably going to be Miller.
If Miller's still on the team, hope their all-star representative. If he gets traded beforehand, it'll be Brent Rooker.
Or if he gets traded, he makes the all-star team and then gets traded like the next day.
Right. I think it was Ken Rosenthal in The Athletic today, following up on what Jim Bowden wrote yesterday, saying the Padres are in their first area that they're looking at is right-handed reliever. That's what AJ Preller is looking at right now. Mason Miller, this dominant closer, right-handed reliever. He throws, what does he throw? 102, 103?
Yeah, it's a very fast, John.
He throws very, very fast. So again, when this game goes final, we will hear from Mike Schilt. They are in the 9th, tied at 4. On the other side, we'll get to the wrap. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. It's hour 2 of Jon and Jim, and it's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Macy's. Just moments ago, Jackson Merrill did this.
Is flight out to center, 1 for 3. High drive, right field, towards a Petco porch, down the line, and gone! Second straight day, the Padres have walked it off. This time it's the kid, Jackson Merrill, second home run of the day, wins it for the Friars, 5-4.
Padres get first sweep of the season, beating the Oakland A's today. They're now 2 games over 500. We'll hear from Schulte coming up momentarily. And the NBA Finals start to Game 3 tonight in Dallas. Celtics lead that series 2-0. And sad news, Jerry West passed away today at the age of 86. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with the Macy's Gift Finder in just a couple clicks. You'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
Is flight out to center, 1 for 3. High drive, right field, towards a Petco porch, down the line, and gone! Second straight day, the Padres have walked it off. This time it's the kid, Jackson Merrill, second home run of the day, wins it for the Friars, 5-4.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim, and the Padres have something. Their first sweep of the year. Back-to-back wins against a left-handed starter. 5-1 in their last 6. 2 games over 500. Who would have ever thought on a day where Jerkson Profar sits, Donovan Solano and Jackson Merrill each have multi-home run games. And this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill, you beat up on the A's 9-0 and everything felt good all day long. No, another adversity-ridden win, trailing by multiple runs in the 8th inning. Their 15th come-from-behind win of the year. This team is not the 2023 Padres, for once and all. I mean, they're just a different team. They're 2 games over 500. There's a lot of work still in front of them. But what a series. What a back-to-back nights for the Padres. Higashioka yesterday, Merrill today, off to New York, 2 games over 500 for the Friars.
They've been banging.
They're banging right now, man.
They are
4
banging.
home runs in this game.
Just banging all over the place. I'm going to bang over here. I'm going to bang over there.
Okay,
Merrill's
you do
banging
that.
over here. Donnie Barrels is banging over there. They're just picking up win after win now. Sweep. A 5-2 homestand. Their first sweep of the season. Off of like one of the best closers in the game in Mason Miller.
Dude, AJ Preller, I mean, nobody knew Merrill was going to be on this team even to start the year. It was almost out of necessity, some thought. He's put together an unbelievable first half of a rookie year. Donovan Solano, how'd they even get him?
For
Waiver claim?
Just picked him up and no one wanted him.
Solano, the contributions from Merrill. Obviously, the cease and arise trades. I mean, it's the roster they've put together. Again, I don't know if it's the most talented roster in baseball, but they are feeding off each other right now, and they're playing well enough. They're not the best team in baseball, obviously, but they're 37-35, and they're playing well. And they've won 5 of 6, and they're going to New York, and they've been really good on the road. And they have momentum. Like, they have legitimate momentum off this. We said they needed to clear the hurdle of sweeping someone. They've cleared it here today.
This was going to be a tough loss. This is going to be a tough loss to talk about.
Yep.
Because
back to 500.
It's the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. They got above 500. They're back to 500.
Right.
They have an opportunity for a sweep. They can't get the sweep. And then Donovan Solano hits that 2-run home run in the 8th inning.
With 2 outs.
And you're like, what? And Toddy did a great job drawing a walk before him to get him to that point.
On a borderline pitch.
Borderline pitch. Maybe it could have been a call to strike, but
again, credit to Tatis.
Right. And this team at home, Jon, this homestand has shown something offensively that they have not shown all year long, which is power. They're hitting for power at home now. This series, how many home runs do they have this series? I mean,
well, let me answer that.
A lot. How many home runs do they have in this homestand? A lot. They scored a lot of runs, and they pitched really well. And their bullpen, for the most part, pitched really well. This was the homestand we've been waiting for the entire season. Now it's up to these guys to go and use this as a momentum builder for a prolonged stretch here of playing consistent baseball and hopefully widening the gap from you and 500 in the positive direction. Because now they're 2 games over. They go play the Mets, and who else did they go on this?
Phillies.
Phillies
Just lost JT Realmuto.
Yeah, they'll be tough though.
Yep, of course.
They'll be tough. And if you can have a,
was that 6-game trip?
I'll just say 6 games.
Yeah.
Say
I think it's a 6-game trip.
Yeah, even a 4-2 trip would be great.
3-3 or better. You're
3-3 or
golden.
better. You're good.
I mean, you're good. You're in a good spot. I mean, listen, we all have to acknowledge this. There's something about this group that is vastly different from what we've seen in recent history. 2023. They have 15 come from behind wins. And they're doing it in different ways, different nights. They've had these 4-run innings where it's all singles and walks. But now, like you said, they're showing off some power. They're on base plus slugging this year, the OPS stat, the San Diego Padres, they're 7th in baseball. And they lead baseball right now in batting average, and they're top 5 in on base. So, as we said yesterday, as AJ Preller looks to enhance this team, improve this team, first of all, he's got one eye. There's only one goal here. It's making the postseason. There's no way they're looking at it any other way. But I don't know if you really have to tinker with what you have. You've got all these pieces are just working together. Tatis has been hot. Did his hitting streak end today?
It did.
Whatever. Tatis has been red hot. You've got just pieces filling in. Donovan Solano with Jurickson Profar missing a day due to a knee. Hits not 1 but 2 home runs.
That's
uncanny.
That's what teams that have like special years. I'm not saying this team's gonna have a special year, but
you need stuff like that.
You need it. You exactly need those types of things to happen. Like, one of your best players this year is out for an injury. It's just an off day, rest day for him. Now, Donovan Solano has been playing every day, so it's not like Donovan Solano.
But like cleanup spot here today.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it just feels like you're playing with a bit of a B team without Jurickson Profar, who's got his 1,000 OPS or close to.
You need to have the unsung heroes to have a special and a good year. And right now, there's a lot of unsung heroes on this team, and you're thinking to yourself, they could be better. They could be a lot better. Can they prove it? Can they not be that team that we've seen consistently this year, have a hot streak, and then trip over themselves and get back to a place where you're like, well, time to restart, like reset. Can they take this sweep today, which was, fantastic series overall, and can they parlay that into a little bit of a hot streak where they win 12 of 15? That's going to be tough.
Well, okay, so let's forecast it out. They're 5-1 in their last 6 games. They're taking on a Mets team that's been a disaster all year. Mm-hmm. They've been very good on the road. I'm talking about the Padres. Let's just give them. We're looking ahead. We'll hear from Mike Schilt, by the way, coming up at some point.
Look at that smile on Schilt.
We'll hear from Schilt in 5 minutes. So we'll hear from Mike Schilt coming up. But if you go 2-1 in New York, which is not far-fetched, it's just not, then all of a sudden you are 7-2 over a 9-game stretch. The stretch we've been waiting for is within reach. It's just there, and it's within reach. And to your point, you go. I think it's a little early to get too caught up here in wild card standings, but
it's too early. John.
If you just play well, you're not going to have to worry about anything because the National League isn't going to be good, and you can run away, so to speak, from some of these other teams vying for playoff spots. So again, the things you like are they just kind of have a knack and they're figuring it out on the fly and they're playing like a team. The things I don't like in the long term that concern me, I think they can address. What do I not like? Their health. Darvish, question mark. I think he returns sooner rather than later. Musgrove, question mark. We have no idea. Bogarts, you've said it, and I agree with you. I hate to put it as bluntly as this because he's been a very good player in his career. Are they even missing him?
They're not missing Xander right now.
They're not missing him, they can live without it. But there is they're a bit thin where Darvish, Musgrove's concerning. If you lost another piece, you could get yourself in a little bit of trouble. But they're finding ways despite injuries. That's another good sign for a team.
Well, it's a credit to guys like Donovan Solano, who had to step up in a big way once Xander went down. If Xander doesn't go down, you're probably not seeing Donovan Solano play as much as he is right now.
Right. So you might not be winning a game like this.
Probably not. And again, it's the harsh reality for what Xander was this year. But frankly, you're not missing anything with Xander, and nobody's sitting here talking about, man, we can't wait till Xander gets back. Nobody. And when those moments happen, it's like, yes, it's the next man up mentality. And more often than not, it doesn't really work out. But in this case, it's working out in a huge way. I mean, where would this team be without Donovan Solano? He is such a solid hitter at the plate. He's always going to give you a good at bat. And if he's showing pop like this, I'm not saying he's going to hit 15, 20 home runs, but if he can, hit one out every once in a while, like that's a major plus. And you have him contributing. Jerkson Profar's doing what he's doing this year. And then you get to Jackson Merrill, who hit the walk-off today. We said at the beginning of the season, if you get like a 260 year from him with like an OPS in the 700s, that's an amazing year. Not only right now is he hitting 279, his OPS is now over 700, and he leads all of rookies in baseball in hits. And he's playing fantastic center field defense. I mean,
including today, you're right. I mean, what more could you ask for out of Jackson Merrill?
You literally can't ask for anything more because he's giving you it all.
This is like finally the team, and I don't know if AJ Preller's done it or not, but I can envision a team, and in 2022 we had a nice team that made the National League Championship Series. But this feels like the team that has been put together, not all with dollars. Like he's put together a roster that's complementing itself. Solano, Peralta, again, Higashioka as a secondary catcher here, what he's done in the month of June. The Michael King, the way he's thrown it here in that Juan Soto trade. Suarez bouncing back this year. Estrada off the scrap heap. Like he's had a rise, obviously, Cease, right? Like he's put together a roster that complements itself. It feels like to me. Again, maybe not his best roster, but it doesn't feel like there's these egregious holes or like what's going on here with this team.
Talk to me in a month.
Okay.
Because I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to fall flat on their face. No. I really don't.
I don't think they are either. But if in a month's time, they're still 1 or 2 games over 500.
Then they'll probably have clinched a playoff spot.
Probably. I can only say that if it's definitive on like, okay, this team's a good team. They played good baseball this last week to erase that 5-game losing streak, which they've done very well this year, by the way. Every time they've had a crappy stretch, almost cussed there. Every time they've had a bad stretch of baseball, they have followed it up right away with a very good stretch to negate that bad stretch. That 5-game losing streak in the earlier part of the year, 4-game winning streak. This 5-game losing streak last week, 5 of 7, 5-2 homestand to get to 2 games over 500 now. That's a great quality to have as a team. It's the quality that I hate is like them doing this and then all of a sudden doing the same cycle again. Great stretch, average, bad stretch. Great stretch, bad stretch, average. Like, they need to have a prolonged stretch here of consistency where they do win 12 of 16, 12 of 15 games. So we don't have to sit here every day
and yo-yo back and forth.
Exactly. And ask, who are the Padres?
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's just there's something about them, and I can't put my finger exactly on how they're doing it, but they're doing it in different ways. Even today, where you call upon your Rule 5 guy who earlier, this month maybe, was a complete train wreck in Kansas City, and he's one of the reasons why you win the game. And Stephen Kolek.
Oh, yeah.
Who keeps it a 1-run game when you were trailing against Oakland. Like, they just are finding ways. Like that to me is a very good trait. Now, again, yeah, I'm not saying, hey, what I'm seeing is they're going to surpass the Dodgers and win 99 games and go 17-2 over a 19-game stretch. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's something about this group that is absolutely different from last year. And that is very hard to argue. I don't know what it ultimately means. I'm not saying that they're going to, again, win 90 games. I'm just saying there's a bit of an it factor. And I know it's only 72 games and 37 and 35, but I'm sensing it a bit about this team.
I think we talked about it maybe like as far as like a month and a half ago.
Right.
Like, yeah,
I went all in when they were game over a month and a half ago.
I know you did.
And I'm still willing to stay there.
The things that this team has, the qualities that this team has, are things that last year's team aspired to have, which is the grit, the fight, and that goes a good way. That goes a good distance here if you have those two things, and this team has those two things. And I think they know themselves. I think last year's team thought they knew themselves, which was, we have so much talent, we can just go out there and win a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year's team understands, while they have a lot of talent, they can't do that. They can't go out there and just expect to win. And I think there has been times this year where they might have thought that, where they might have thought when they're going for a sweep, so we just took care of these guys the first two games of this series. Of course, we're going to go out there and sweep these guys. And what happens? They trip over themselves. Maybe today, and hopefully something kicked in for the rest of the year where it's like, we can't just go out there and expect to win. We have to go out there and fight and show grit. And that's what happened today. Down 4-2. They showed the fight. Donovan Solano and then Jackson Merrill off one of the best closers in the game. Great win, great sweep. Hopefully they continue it on the road trip.
All right, so I have a feeling Mike Schilt will be pleased
you think?
with today's win by the Padres to sweep their first series of the year. They're off tomorrow. They'll travel tonight for New York. Here was the manager of the Padres just moments ago.
Where do we start? I mean, probably with Jackson, right? But, I mean, 2-homer game, adds on with gets the second run. And, of course, they came back. And, God, man, what a beautiful approach. Not trying to do too much against a guy that's pretty nasty, man, clearly. Just nice, sweet stroke, drop the head, and send everybody home happy.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about his growth and his consistency as well. This is maybe just another next step in his progression of reaching what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. And he just continues to play the game, stays within himself, takes what the game, gives him, sees it real well, has an approach with the talent to match, and now you're seeing it just continue to get more consistent and burgeon.
Sticking with the offense for a moment, Solano, great game for him as well. Clutch home runs. I mean, for a guy that couldn't really find a job coming into spring training, he's found a nice home here.
Found a great home. He's a pro's pro. Donnie Barrels, big swing to get us the lead, and man, wasn't it bad to tie it later? Just tremendous at bats, righties, lefties, doesn't matter. Just going to take a pro at bat and doesn't try to do too much. Just nice, short, compact swing, ball to handle, and puts barrel on it. So let's also give some love to Toddy on the at bat before that. He's got a hitting streak that most of us know about. He could have easily chased a hitting streak. Instead, he took a great at bat and earned a walk on a borderline pitch. That's winning baseball. That guy, how do I get on for the next guy behind me? Yeah, I got something personal going on, but our team's more important than that. And I can't say what he was thinking, but I can tell what I saw. I saw a guy who was determined to figure out a way to get on base, and that was a real team at bat.
Switching over to the pitching and defense now, let's go to the sixth inning, which was really a crucial point where Stephen Kolek was able to come in there, and Azokar makes that catch, kind of a turning point to keep that game close.
A lot to unpack in the sixth inning. I'm sure we'll continue to unpack with some other questions. Good for Stephen Kolek. We talked about him, a lot of guys graduating in our bullpen. Maury Hone getting bigger innings, Estrada clearly being able to do that. And now Stephen, last couple times out, it's been tremendous, multiple innings, absolutely in attack, stuff's elite. And he comes into a real headache, bases loaded, nobody out, boom, punch out, and then, makes a quality pitch, and Sugar goes down and makes a plus play. I turned to Espo after that. I said, right there, that's going to help us win this baseball game.
Almost feels like it was yesterday now, but Michael King threw the ball pretty darn good today with that slider working on the two-seam fastball.
He was great. The decision, he's at that 90 mid area, but he hadn't really had any stress. He's got a two-hitter going. We like the at-bats against Baudet and then Andujar with him. He hadn't had much traffic. His pitch count was up, but really that was effectively Cameron had a 10-pitch at bat in the fourth, and Soderstrom had a 9-pitch at bat in the second. So you're talking about effectively 20 of his pitches in those two at bats, but didn't have a lot of traffic beyond that. So point being is he came off, felt great, everybody thought his stuff was still crisp. Goes out, Boudet gets, a ball that he, found a way to get through the hole, and then Andujar, it's a 15 hopper that, we weren't able to, there wasn't a play to be made, it's just an infield single. And so we go to Wandy and, ground ball finds a hole and don't make a bump play. And, then Cole comes in later to save the day.
That long at bat that did run up his pitch count. I mean, the inning before that, he'd been very efficient. And were you thinking at that time, okay, maybe we are going to be able to get, because it was clear his pitch count was building up as his strikeouts were building up.
Yeah.
You were thinking along in the game of kind of like, oh, when exactly was it that you were going to?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we just continue until we do the whole game long. Like what's the stress? We mentioned Vasquez yesterday. Did a great job of dodging all that traffic, but he's in traffic. There's more stress. He's got to make, more quality pitches out of the stretch. Today, Michael pretty much in control with the 2 hits. The long at bats didn't affect that inning to where he had to labor to get out of it, which, then's a factor about how long they go. So with 2 longer at bats, spaced out a couple innings apart, and a lot of quality pitches, and the stuff's still good. And we like the reaction we were seeing on the swings from Boudet and Andujar. It was pretty easy decision. Again, he found a little bit of a hole in the middle, and 15 hopper, was an infield hit. But that's part of the equation of how we operate.
Is it a fairly easy decision also at 98 pitches, given that he's not like you're limiting his workload, but you're aware of what Michael King has done in the past, and you don't want to take him beyond that?
He'd done his part. Yeah, he had more than done his part. The decision is whether to send him back out. But again, I already talked about the justification of the decision, which I feel really good about. Sometimes it just, balls find holes, and that's the game. But, relative for him to keep going, no, that's Wandy's spot. He's got a left, right, left. He's a ground ball guy. He's fresh. The plan going into that was Michael grab an out or two, Wandy be ready for Soderstrom, finish that inning, get a part of the next inning. Plans don't always go accordingly, but no, he'd done his part, and we got a lane for Wandy, and that's all we can ask for.
Where do we start? There's a lot to react to. Padres over the A's in walk-off fashion, back-to-back walk-offs via home runs for the second time in franchise history.
That's incredible.
And the first time since 1986, the Padres have back-to-back walk-offs via the home run ball. We'll react to Mike Schild and a Padres sweep, their first of the year over the A's on the other side. Plus, still ahead this hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
Donnie Barrels.
All right, we're going to hear from Jackson Merrill on the other side. Plus, he did something today that's never been done in the history of baseball. We'll tell you what it is next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Macy's. Padres finally get a sweep today as Jackson Merrill hit a walk of Mason Miller in the bottom of the ninth inning. Padres have an off day tomorrow before they start a road trip. First up in New York versus the Mets on Friday. Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight in Dallas as the Celtics have a 2-0 series lead. Pretty much a must-win game for the Mavericks. Good news for them. Kristaps Porzingis has been ruled out tonight for the Celtics with his knee injury. And sad news in the world of basketball today as the legend, the logo, Jerry West, passed away today at the age of 86. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder. In just a couple clicks, you'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
All right, our iHeartRadio Music back with tickets before you can buy them. Live performances by Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, New Kids on the Block, Shabuzi, and more. September 20th and 21st, T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Listen to win tickets before you can buy them, including airfare and hotel accommodations in Vegas, plus $1,000. Keep listening for your chance to win. And our exclusive Capital One card holder presale is now live. We'll hear from Jackson Merrill in a moment. He did something today. Now, they've been playing baseball since what?
Like the 1800s?
1870, roughly.
It's been a while. Yeah.
We weren't talking about it back then.
No, we weren't.
Wrap-up show started in 1880. Yeah. But so they've been playing baseball for 155 years in the major leagues. Jackson Merrill is the youngest player in baseball history to hit 2 or more home runs in a game, including a walk-off. So in the 150 years they've been playing baseball at the major league level, there have been a lot of players to play. He's the youngest to ever have a 2-homer game or more and hit a walk-off home run in that same game. That's good.
Oh, my gosh.
That's good.
Oh, my gosh.
Very good.
That's amazing.
And he's also probably the only player to ever do it when Donovan Solano also hits 2 home runs in a game. So Solano and Merrill carry the Padres to a walk-off win over the A's. They sweep Oakland. Jackson Merrill's talking about it now.
He is.
Was this on TV or was this in the clubhouse?
This was to MLB Network right after the win.
All right. Speaking with MLB Network, here's Jackson Merrill after the walk-off.
First pitch against the best fastball in the game, and he throws you a non-fastball. So are you sitting dead red there, or are you thinking this might be his get me over breaking ball, and I'm sitting on that?
No, I'm sitting heater all day there. You know,
exactly.
You gotta try to get the head out on him. You can't be sitting slider, because if you sit slider, I'm gonna swing when that thing's in the glove. So, I'd sit heater and try and get the head out, and then he gave me an off speed, so I was already ready to go.
Man, those are those moments. I remember those moments playing, Jackson, to where you almost black out for a split second. I know you're sitting heater, but once you swing and make contact, first walk off of your career, how are you feeling round and third going to your squad right there?
I'm just feeling hyped that we won the game. We've been looking for a sweep all year, and when we finally got one, we're ready to go on the road and do some damage. So we got two good teams coming up, and we really want to go into that feeling strong. So we got a happy flight tonight, and that's all I was thinking about.
Hey, before you get on that flight, let me talk to you just about slowing the game down, man. You seem so calm, cool, and collect. Just talk about how comfortable you're getting to the ballpark, getting your routine, and getting out there and doing your thing.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of the vets about it, and just like kind of how this is a jungle, and you got to be prepared every day to come. Every day is different, and every day comes with a new challenge. So just come up prepared to face anything and be prepared for any situation. That's kind of how I get through my day. Slow the game down. Don't speed it up too fast. That's when it really goes wrong.
Is that the number one home run of your baseball life right there?
100%. I never even hit a walk-off hit before, so that's got to be.
At any level? At any level in high school?
I don't even think at 8U I hit a walk-off hit.
Well, you learned something new from Jackson Merrill. Hey, man, keep ranking. That was a lot of fun, and we're so happy you joined us in MLB tonight.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah, guy out of high school ball, you think there'd be moments. And then through the minors, he didn't play a ton of the minors, but you just think if you're the best player he's like the best player in the Mid-Atlantic coming up.
You have to think, though, in high school, he was probably
He was probably 10-0 every night.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're probably easily the best player around, so
that's true.
He wasn't trailing much.
That is weird.
That's very weird, but good for him.
Yeah.
He's been everything the Padres have hoped for. It was the number one talking point in spring training was Jackson Merrill. We had discussions about Jackson Merrill every single freaking day.
Yeah, it was Bogarts moving from short to second and Merrill moving from short to center field.
A rookie, 20-year-old
at the time, yep.
Playing a position he's never played before, and it's not an easy position.
And he's played the position well and contributed in the lineup.
And oh, by the way, go out and hit too.
Yeah.
It's just blown away by what he has been able to do this season for the Padres in a short amount of time and be a big time contributor for them and not look overmatched, not be a guy that, is a situational guy. They tried for a little bit. They thought but he's in there every day, every single day, lefty or righty. He's in there and he's holding his own. And
he has been, yeah.
In majority of the time, he's going to give you a really good at bat.
Dude, how about this pick, by the way, 27th overall out of high school?
Yeah.
Again, you never know there. You're not going to hit them all at 100%. Obviously, the Padres have not developed a lot of position players or pitchers.
No.
Under AJ Preller. You take a guy out of a Maryland high school, not exactly baseball USA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a Maryland high school in 2021. You accelerate him.
Yeah.
You switch positions, and everything has worked out swimmingly.
Everything has worked out perfect.
This guy a year ago in Fort Wayne.
I know.
To this point, the first 2 months of the season, couldn't hit this out of a barn.
And Preller, rightfully so, was questioned about this move because there hasn't been a big track record of success here with elevating guys, position players in the minor leagues, and them sticking at the big league level with the Padres. Jackson Merrill has stuck in a huge way. He's banging every night, just banging left and right. And
his words,
not mine. His words, not mine.
He said it was coming soon. He wasn't kidding. 4 home runs today, 2 by him.
They're banging everywhere, John.
He wasn't
just
kidding.
Banging all the time.
What do you got, Brent?
Last weekend I was sitting around watching the game, and it just kind of came to me. It was like he's been playing such a good center field.
Yeah. Defensively, yeah.
No, that I forgot that he's a shortstop.
I know.
Yes, you don't. You
Yeah.
forget.
That was one of our. We brought up. In the offseason now, pretty much every day we had some sort of question mark whether it's his bat or just him playing center field when he never played it before. But he's been playing so well at center field that I just completely forgot that he was a shortstop.
He had an interesting quote within the last 48 hours. I forget where I saw it, so I won't give it any attribution or credit. But the quote was essentially, hey, how did you make the move defensively without skipping a beat? He's like, oh, I was always thinking in the infield.
I saw with that.
I saw outfield is so much easier because the ball doesn't get on you as quick. It's so much less responsibility. It's like, I just use my athleticism. I just track.
Yeah.
There is a big difference between tracking and fielding. Mm-hmm. So, right, fielding your position in the infield involves multiple things, the fielding and the throw. Right. Tracking in the outfield it's an athletic play. Look at Tatis. They got that 100% right. They went to the athleticism play. It's worked out. Yeah. Merrill, they said, listen, he's an athlete. So when you're athlete first, I mean, it's amazing. He has, I don't know, maybe he's taken a bad route here or there.
I can't remember.
He's taken a lot of damn good routes.
I can't remember.
And he never, honestly, when he starts to step back, he'll always make the play in. Yeah. Or if he comes in a half step and goes back, he'll make the play.
Maybe
it's probably
one or two times.
But everyone in the big leagues has had that.
But from day one in Korea, he has been on everything. And by what I mean is every route he's taken has been the right route. He has not looked like a guy that's out of position. He doesn't look like a guy that's overmatched as far as defensively go and doesn't know how to run routes and track a ball and play the ball off the walls or, whatever the case may be. He's done everything pretty close to perfect and everything that you have asked him to do in center field. And it's not just defensively. It's one thing if he went out there and played great defensively and, the hitting part of it was a struggle, but he's given you everything you possibly have asked for to hold down center field from a defensive standpoint. No, he's also done everything you've asked for offensively with his bat and then some. I mean, dude's hitting almost 280.
And they've also made the right decision. I don't know if it's Preller, front office, or Schulte. They haven't gone to the easy temptation of moving him up at any point in the lineup.
Thank goodness.
They haven't fallen for that trap because 2 weeks into the season, people are like, bat him leadoff. This guy's hitting 300. This guy's 900 OPS. Move him up. They need a leadoff man. They didn't. And they've stayed true to that for 70-something games, which leads me to believe, especially with the acquisition of Arise, with the way the offense is produced, he'll sit seventh all season long. And that, to me, is a really good thing. That's a credit to the San Diego Padres, whether it's Preller, front office, Schulte, whomever has made that determination. That's the right decision. It's paid off.
Well, there was a moment where Jackson Merrill was getting put in the leadoff spot.
But it was rare, right? It was like a brief period.
But if they don't get Luis Arise, I bet you there's more temptation.
They'd be more tempted. But again, Proe was filling that role a little bit before Arise.
But he's also got Profar this year has been a guy that they need to drive in runs.
No doubt.
And so putting him in the middle of the lineup has worked out just how the Padres wanted to. So then you're thinking about, all right, who's going to be our leadoff guy? If they don't get Luis Arise,
maybe
that temptation probably becomes larger. And so thankfully, them getting Arise has, put water on that temptation fire and let them keep Jackson Merrill where he's, the most comfortable, which is 7, 8, 6th, maybe occasionally, but rarely.
Just bat him 7th.
Just hit him 7th or 8th. Just put him there.
I don't know who's responsible for the masterclass, but it's either Preller or Schulte.
Or it's Jackson Merrill for actually putting in the work and
being the
player that they hope.
But all of it, not falling for temptation, being willing to move him to center field, being willing to start him in the big leagues on opening day. There's decisions in there. There were decisions in there that he didn't control.
Yeah.
They put him in a spot where he could be successful. He's fully taken.
They've rewarded their decision.
All right. On the other side, who wants a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair? It is now open. The fair is underway for 2024. Everyone wants them. Here's the number to call: 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia today. We call it Trainwreck Radio. First 2 callers, contestants for Trainwreck Radio. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. It is underway at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Call right now. The lines will be loaded for this. 877-767-4760. We'll do that next, plus continue to react. Post-game coverage as the Padres walk off the A's again and sweep the series. It's Jon and Jim. All right, game recognizing game plus Trainwreck Radio next. Walk off the A's again. Wrap up show edition of Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. We have trivia in a moment. So, game recognizing game. Patrick Mahomes.
When I saw this.
Patrick Mahomes. When you think about some of the all-time greats, you think about Mahomes, you think about LeBron, you think about Matt Waldron.
Correct.
Let me explain. So, Patrick Mahomes, there's a video of him on social media on X of him throwing a knuckleball football at minicamp. He does the full windup like his dad, who played in the big leagues and pitched, and he throws this like knuckleball football to a receiver. And he then quote tweets this video and says, "I'm trying to learn the knuckleball the Waldron dude from the Padres throws." Okay, that alone is absurd. But wait, there's more. AJ Cassavell reporting that Matt Waldron grew up a Chiefs fan. He was in the stands for the regular season Bills game this year when Travis Kelce threw the lateral and Kadarius Toney was offsides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On Mahomes imitating him, it's kind of crazy, like I'm living in a different universe. Game recognizing game.
I mean, I saw that tweet.
Like, this can't be
Like,
real.
I think that's Patrick Mahomes, right?
The actual one,
the real one, the
Not the
Patrick
fake.
Mahomes. I saw a bunch of people were like, "His name is Matt Waldron." Patrick,
Dude, the fact that he knew Waldron is incredible.
like, chill out. It's Matt freaking
Yeah.
Waldron. They just did it.
Dude's like the best athlete in America.
Even if he just said like the guy that throws a knuckleball in the Padres, that's good
Even
enough
just
for
saying
me.
Padres is amazing.
Literally, just saying the team name. To how many followers does he have on social media?
Millions. He's got 2.6 million on X. That's a big number on X.
Big number.
It's not Instagram when the numbers are bigger. That's a big number.
Yeah.
For an
Did
athlete.
he put it on Instagram?
I don't know, but I don't know.
Hold on, let me check.
He may have.
Because if he did,
that
that's
would be
even bigger.
Yeah.
Mahomes.
He should have. It's a video.
He did.
He did.
He did. Put it on his story.
How many followers does he have on Instagram?
6.7 million.
So combined 10 million followers.
10 million followers now will know about Matt Waldron on the Padres.
How cool is that?
That's amazing.
Would you say Mahomes has had more success than Waldron to this point in his career?
Well, in the last couple months, I would say Matt Waldron's had more success
True.
than Patrick
That's
Mahomes.
a great point. Since April, you're right.
I think you could definitively say that Matt Waldron right now has been more successful in the last couple months than Patrick Mahomes.
I agree with that. All right, back to the Padres sweep of the A's coming up at 5 p.m. But right now, let's get to this.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's contestants, we have Greg and Tim. Greg, you called in first. So you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Oh, John.
All right.
Greg with John.
Strategic decision there.
Yeah, it is. Greg, John, Tim, Jim. Tim, are you good with that?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
He's like, I guess so.
Yep.
All right, Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, we were talking about Jerry West passing away today. Jerry West appeared in 14 NBA All-Star games. There was only 6 players in NBA history with more All-Star game appearances than Jerry West. Today's question, name any of the 6 players in NBA history with more All-Star game appearances than Jerry West. So we need the 6 players that have more than 14 All-Star appearances.
Okay, in their careers, you're looking for guys with 15 or more All-Star game appearances.
All right. So, Tim, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem, Lou Alcindor.
Well done.
On the list. Greg, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
You gotta go with Kobe.
Kobe.
Jerry West traded for him. And
On
he's
the
on the
list.
list.
Back to you, Tim. Second guess. You do have a lifeline still if you want to use it.
LeBron James.
LeBron James on the list.
Wow.
Greg, back to you. Second guess. You do have a lifeline. What do you got?
It's 13 or more, right?
14 or more.
More than 14.
Yeah, so I said 15.
Yep.
Another Laker, LeBron.
Wait,
LeBron was just said.
LeBron was said.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
15?
On the
I wouldn't have
list.
realized that. I wouldn't have said that. That's a big number.
That's a very good one. Tim, your final guess.
Wow,
You do have a
that-
lifeline if you do
That
want to
was,
use
that
it.
was yeah. I'm gonna use a lifeline. Shaq was my guess, so
boy.
I'm kind of out of a. Who's played that long? 14. Yeah, I'll use my lifeline.
Okay.
Okay. All right. 14 or more. Man, legends. Got to think of legends here, James. Think of legends. I'm gonna go. The only person I'm thinking about right now is Tim Duncan, but I don't feel like that's the correct answer. But that's what I'm gonna give you. You could pick something else if you want, but I'm going with Tim Duncan.
No, that's it. Just depends on if he played that many years. Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's go with Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Wow!
Wow.
Boom, baby.
Wow.
Let's go. Now Greg needs to get this.
Right.
Greg needs to get this to tie it and send it to overtime. He does have a lifeline, and this is the final. There's only one guess because we've gotten 5 right here. All right, Greg, what do you got? You do have a lifeline. John's sweating it out over here.
John, I have a person in mind, but
Who's your person in mind?
Dr. J.
He played in the ABA. I'll say no on that. I could be wrong, but he played in the ABA, which would scare me.
So what's your lifeline for him?
I was going to say Magic, but that scares me. That's a lot of All-Star games.
What about Michael Jordan?
He missed 2 years.
I know you.
We're just talking through this.
You got 5 seconds.
Pick one of those guys.
Guess. All right, you have to guess right now.
KG?
You gave like 5 dudes, dude.
I'm just
You
thinking.
you can only take one guy. Greg, you have to.
Let's go with what John says. KG.
And you know that was me talking through it. Was it not?
That's not. You can't do that.
I just thought of it off the top of my head. Another high school guy.
But who did you see? You said
I actually said Magic.
You said Magic.
But then I thought KG
and
the
you're like,
last second.
KG.
I agree.
That
It was a
is
little
so
shady
bad
on my
there,
part.
man.
Technically, he can do it because it's the last guess. So it's not like he's giving you any answers. It would have been dumb if he did it at like the first one. But
Dude,
that was pure luck on
that
your
was
part.
Absolute luck. I mean,
Pure
the Dr. J
100%
thing, yeah,
luck.
he had played in the ABA.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and Magic also.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we're going into overtime, guys. The way overtime works is I'm going to ask you a question. When I'm done asking you the question, you're going to yell out the name of your partner today, either John or Jim. You guys got it? Don't yell out the name. Don't yell out the answer. Just yell out the name of your partner. Whoever gets the question right, you're going to win the game or you're going to lose the game by getting it wrong. Do you guys got it?
Got it.
Today's question, I'm switching to John. What team drafted Kobe Bryant?
Jim.
All right,
I heard Jim.
Tim, what do you got?
The Charlotte Hornets.
That is
the
correct. Wow.
Let's
Wow.
go.
Good job,
Tim.
Greg, because that was a trick question.
Probably as good of a pick as the Hornets ever made.
The best pick but
They've ever
but it
made.
never like turned it.
He was a big contributor. Not for them.
Well, what did Vlade Divac do for them? Because that's who he was
He
traded
had
for.
a nice season. He had a nice year for like a 33-win team. Wow, what a game that was.
That was fun.
That was unbelievable.
That was
All
fun.
right, Tim, congratulations. You have won a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair going on from June 12th to July 7th at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Let's look back, have some fun together, and go retro. For tickets and info, go to sdfair.com. Keep listening for your chance to win. More chances this week. Next hour, we have Third Eye Blind tickets. Back to a Padres sweep of the A's. You could say the Padres brought their A game today. Thank you, Padres social media team. Hour 3, Jon and Jim is next.
This update's brought to you by Macy's. Padres finally get a sweep this year as they finish off the Oakland A's today, thanks to a Jackson Merrill walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth inning off of star reliever Mason. Shut up, Mason Miller. Padres win. They're 2 games over 500. They have an off day tomorrow. They start a road trip versus the Mets this upcoming weekend. Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Tip off momentarily in Dallas. Celtics looking for a 3-0 series lead, must-win game for the Mavericks. And Jerry West passed away today at the age of 86. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder in just a couple clicks. You'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? The Padres did beat the A's Saver. They were able to get by Mason Miller 1 additional point than Oakland today. 5 points, all they needed in a 5-4 win over Oakland. Padres Saver was better than the A's Saver today. You know, we joked yesterday about like that soccer terminology.
That just sounds like somebody that's never saw baseball before,
Exactly.
like an alien landed. They don't know what to call
Saver.
it. So like, oh, that Saver
final
really
guy.
got that ball knocker outer guy out.
We joked yesterday because everyone knows each sport has like terminology. Like when you know if someone knows how to talk baseball because they like it
You
just
don't call
sounds
it a
right.
locker room, you call it a clubhouse.
Yeah, like you don't say head coach, you say manager.
Yeah.
With
It's not
soccer,
a stadium, it's a ballpark.
soccer can be confusing sometimes unless you really know the sport, just like baseball can be confusing if you really know the sport. We talked about terminology yesterday, and then you break out Saver for Mason Miller.
You're the
here today.
snobby a-hole that
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I am gonna gatekeep
Do it.
Padres baseball
you
right now.
gatekeep that mother.
Okay, a couple things. Robert Suarez.
Swery?
Swery.
Remember
We said last night on the wrap-up show, we said, hey, would they go to Swery again for a 3rd straight day?
Hell freaking
Say,
yeah, they
go
would.
to him. You're trying to pick up your first sweep of the year. And they did it again in a tie game. Like, Schilt is not scared to look for a 4th out of a saver to pitch him in a tie game. That saver role. I'm being such an idiot. But when the Padres have Robert Suarez on the mound, I mean, it's amazing because Mason Miller's gotten all this, like, all the talk of baseball. Oh, my gosh, the A's have this guy who throws 102. He's striking out everyone. Robert Suarez is as good of a reliever as there is in baseball.
John, you said best closer / saver in the game of baseball.
Is that
Wrong.
Robert Suarez?
That's Robert Suarez. Name me one better. I'll wait.
No, I mean, Jeremiah Estrada, reliever.
He's not a saver, but
He's not a saver, but he's a reliever.
I'm just going to look it up right now because
What,
I'm
best ERAs?
I'm pretty just closers in baseball.
Okay.
I am pretty confident that Robert Suarez is the best closer in baseball. It's probably, I don't even think pretty close.
You can say by saves, ERA.
By everything. Okay, if I'm looking at all of baseball, they don't really have like a closer tab. They just have pictures not showing up for me. Why is it not showing up for me?
Well, we just run with it because he's got, what does he have, 0.5 ERA?
I want to be proven 100% right here.
Well, who could be better? Someone that's truly been perfect?
Or maybe it's somebody that we're not thinking about right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Can you look up this too?
No. I don't even know what we're looking up.
We're looking up pitchers, closers in baseball. And I want to know who the best closer is in baseball according to statistics.
It's probably Robert Suarez. Now, he doesn't lead baseball in saves. That's Ryan Helsley with the Cardinals. Emmanuel Clase has 20 saves. Emmanuel Clase's got a 0.84 ERA. Robert Suarez is a 0.61.
Robert Suarez is the best closer in baseball.
Yeah, he's got the best numbers. So, again, I'm looking way ahead, but just hear me out for a second. Okay?
All right.
Game 6 of the World Series. I'm kidding. But hear me out. Like, when you think about teams that can win, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. You can talk me back if you want.
I think I might have to.
But hear me out.
Go for it.
You want to have elite 8th and 9th inning guys, right?
Yeah.
You need to have high-level rotation pieces, someone like a Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish when healthy, right?
Yeah.
You got star power in your lineup, do you not? Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado. Like, they got some of the things you like if you can get there. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. They have some of the things you really like if you get there. You can shorten a game. You take a 2-1 lead into the 6th or 7th inning. You throw Estrada and Suarez for the final 6, 7, 8, 9 outs in a postseason. Dylan Cease, I mean, he's been very good, obviously. Yu Darvish historically has been very good. Michael King's been good this year. I'm just saying, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's fine. But I'm just saying they have the makings of a team that can win meaningful games. Is that fair, or is that going too far?
No, it's fair. You're not putting them in the World Series right now.
No.
But they have nice pieces, definitely. They have one of, if not the best 1-2 punch right now in Estrada and Suarez for the back end of your bullpen in all of baseball. And I think when you look at their rotation, they have a lot of guys there. Cease, King. If Darvish comes back, I'm not going to use that because ifs and buts and stuff like whatever that.
Yeah, but it's only June, so I feel like it's fair to be like, I don't think we can just cross him out.
How about this? If you went into a postseason series right now, would you feel pretty comfortable with throwing Cease, King, and Patrick Mahomes' new favorite player, Matt Waldron, in a 1-2-3?
No, not. I mean, that wouldn't be ideal, I don't think.
But it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not. Because he's the only knuckleball pitcher in baseball that's working.
It's not like, oh my God, Mike Clevenger and Sean Manaea are starting. I agree in Game 4.
No, I mean, here's the thing, Jim. If they truly didn't have Darvish and Musgrove in the second half of the year, then AJ Preller will address that. And even if he does have one of them, he still can address it.
Sell the effing farm.
Right. So he will be acquiring a starting pitcher.
Yeah. Good luck. Right now, whoever's in this farm system for the Padres, I would keep my head on a swivel because you could be traded at any moment.
Yeah. Make sure you can get out of your lease.
Exactly. Hope you're renting.
Yeah. Like
wherever you're at.
If you're in Elsinore.
Well, most minor league players rent. They don't.
And make sure you can get out of that thing in 30 days or less.
Yeah. Because guess what? Potentially the farm
coming for you.
Will be sold.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we heard from Jim Bowden, who said the needs are starting pitcher. They want to make a blockbuster move. That was Jim Bowden's words.
Another blockbuster
It would be their third of the year. So starting pitching, you can never have too much. Nope. And then right-handed reliever and potentially bench piece. And then today, Ken Rosenthal doubling down saying, right now the Padres are looking for right-handed relievers. So, and they're going to try to acquire starting pitching. We're 7 weeks out from the trade deadline. So there's plenty of time, and we'll see how this all develops in the days and weeks ahead. But, that's the other thing to consider. They have a real chance to get better. What do I mean by that? Well, they have a chance to get Yu Darvish back. They have a chance to add at the deadline. They do have a legitimate chance to get better. Truth be told, they've been better without Xander Bogaerts.
Xander Bogaerts is a guy that's just completely forgotten. And it's not like a crap on Xander Bogaerts for when this team does well, but it's the reality of what is going on this year is that he's not a guy that is being missed at all. He's not. And I think they're playing good baseball right now. I think his replacements are playing way better baseball than he was when he was healthy. And sometimes, it's things happen for a reason. That's my mindset in life. Things happen for a reason always. And I don't know what the reason is, but I think him getting injured, look at, Donovan Solano, look at Arise playing at first and then Cronenworth at second. I think the reason is you are getting way better production from the others that are in his place than if he was out there.
Let's say he comes back, because I do think there's a very good chance
he's going to try his hardest.
Forecasting for him to return.
He's just not going to give up.
Right. I mean, we have so much time, even a significant injury. It's June. There are months remaining. So if we forecast and they get him back whenever it is, July, August, September, that would be interesting to see how that plays out.
That'd be very
if the team's playing well, and then you get Bogaerts back. But I would say this, again, way ahead, looking way down the pipeline. You get him back, and you're in the postseason, and you got a guy that has won 2 World Series, and you kind of signed him. That's part of the story. Clubhouse leader, winner, multiple-time champion. I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts to have that type of experience with you if you get there, even though they're getting production from guys that aren't Xander Bogaerts. That's how I would look at it.
It doesn't hurt, and maybe in their eyes, I said this last night on the wrap-up show, maybe in their eyes, not everyone else's, but just for the Padres, when we say, potentially they need a bat, well, they're probably saying to themselves, we got a bat coming, and that will be our August, quote, pickup, is that Xander will be returning. But then if Xander's returning, which I do think he's going to do everything in his power to return, especially if this team's winning and they have a chance here. Like, there's no way in hell he's just going to say, I'll just,
It's so much time.
So much time. But if we get to the end of August.
Okay, they're winning.
Well, let's just say that they're in playoff contention.
Okay. But even say they're like playing pretty well. They're in
playoff contention.
Yeah, but that could, okay. I'll go with that. But that could be 500.
And Donovan Solano's continuously doing what he's doing right now.
Right. Hitting 300.
He's continuing to put together great at bat. He's hitting around 300, right? Got an OPS around 750, almost 800. Doing really, really good. Playing solid defense.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the odd man out? You're not,
it's not Xander.
But that's the thing is like, if the team is in contention and playing good baseball and Donovan Solano is playing good baseball, are you really going to consider sitting him?
Yes, and here's why, even though it doesn't make sense. Money. And look, the perception, if I'm AJ Preller and I signed a guy to a $280 million deal, you have to fit him in. Like, the perception is, how could Xander not be playing? Now, maybe the extreme of it, Jim, is he's not available until mid-September, late September, and you're really going. And you're going to the postseason, and you've secured a spot, and you're heading for 86 wins, 88 wins, dare I say 90 wins. Again, this is the extreme. Okay, I don't know what you do if Xander's available to come back September 22nd, and there's a week left in the season, and you've been playing good baseball for a couple of months. I don't know what you do there, but I don't think they think he comes back with a week to go in the regular season. Like, we've seen Kevin write that maybe July becomes a little bit of a timeline for him to at least begin baseball activities. I'm speaking out of turn, but you know what I mean? He might be back well before September. He could be back maybe in July or August.
Man, if I'm Xander Bogaerts, the second I get back and I get put in that lineup over somebody that potentially could be playing really well,
you better perform.
You better freaking perform right away. Like, because I don't think they're in the spot of, we have to give you back your starting spot because you're of the money. Like, no, we've seen it before in baseball where teams just ride the hot hand regardless of how much you're getting paid. And if you get to that point in August or start of September and Donovan Solano is still doing what he's doing, or at least contributing, right? Are you really going to sit there and say, actually, we've been, playing pretty well and we have a good thing going here with Donovan Solano, but this guy over here makes $26 million a year. We got to put him in the lineup over him.
I mean, kind of. It's like you while you have them, you have them. When they had Eric Hosmer, they played Eric Hosmer.
But they also reduced his playing time significantly towards the end because he was not producing.
But unfortunately, arguably, depending on how you look at it, we're nowhere near towards the end.
This season, you have to do what's best for the team, regardless. Next year is next year. You're going to have a spot on this team next year, buddy. That's great. In this moment, okay, John, so you have to ride the hot hand, and you can't give guys spots based on money.
Okay, so walk me through it. It's September 1st, like you said. He's fully healthy, cleared. He's back. He's been rehabbing for 10 days. Was hitting in Double-A. And it's September 1st, and the Padres, with 30 games to play, are 10 games over 500.
Wow.
And Donovan Solano has been playing essentially every day. And like you said, is a 300 hitter. Is activated and is a bench piece.
He is a guy that's not an everyday player.
It's going to be, I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't personally, as a fan, someone that covers the team, object to it. I just, easier said than realized.
Hey, he moved to second base for the team.
Now he's moving to the bench for the team.
If Donovan Solano is continuing to hit at this pace, which is a pretty high pace.
Mhm.
But I think he's hitting, what, 312 this year so far?
That's pretty good.
Very good. I mean, if he's hitting over 300 by the time Xander gets back, and he's getting everyday at bats, this isn't like just like a pinch hitter, right?
Mhm.
Dude, I am sorry. It is about the team over the player. And if the team is performing well with Donovan Solano in the starting lineup, you are keeping him in that starting lineup. And I'm sorry, Xander's going to have to earn his way back.
877-767-4760. Is that how you guys see it? Like Xander, when he returns, if the team plays well, is not a regular?
I'm just talking about Donovan Solano in particular.
No, I get it.
Because you're not sitting Luis Arraez, you're not sitting Jake Cronenworth, and you're not sitting Manny.
877-767-4760, or you can text us 70470. Start it with the word team, or you can follow us on social media at Jon and Jim and react there as well. JONANDJIM. Let's go back to the phones. Dave has been patient. Dave, thanks for calling in. You're on with Jon and Jim.
How about those Padres, huh?
How about them?
So Johnny, look, right when I get ready to say, yep, that Jon Schaefer's right on top of things, and you fall off the cliff on us here.
Okay.
It's about winning. It's about winning. That's it. I mean, if you're going to keep tabs on paychecks, then let's put the paychecks in the standings. I mean, that's how silly this is. You go to the dance with who brung you. Now, here's what's going to be interesting. You've got Arizona's lost their top 3 pitchers. They're coming back this year. So that's going to be interesting development when they all crank up. You've got the Giants kind of in the same situation, but not quite as potent. You've got a really crummy National League overall, with the exception of possibly LA, certainly Philadelphia. We're only 7.5 games out last time I checked on LA. One little tailspin from LA and one run by the Padres. Things get real interesting just in the division.
Well, hold on. Okay, so
Dave.
you want to say that I'm crazy.
Now, Dave?
I'm crazy because I think Xander Bogaerts comes back and plays.
Back-to-back walk-offs.
But
Watch out, Dodgers.
The Padres sweep the A's and they're going to win this division?
Look, it's not, guys, usually at this time of year, we're 22 games out or something like that. I mean, it's not that undoable.
There's 7 games out, Dave.
No, it's fair. Dave, thank you. I mean, listen, like, let's take the steps that we need to take, because 7 games in less than half a year paces to be 15 games.
Team gets 2 walk-offs. Watch out, Dodgers.
I have no concern about the division. Like, I lose no sleep over it.
None.
I'm not even worried about it. If they happen to play great baseball and put themselves in a position where they're contending for it, awesome. If not, equally awesome, potentially. I have no concerns about that. The fact that like, Dave, and I respect the opinion, and you as well, it's not laughable that Xander Bogaerts comes back and plays every day. That's not laughable.
It's not laughable.
In
no.
fact, there's probably a decent chance it happens.
It could be the wrong
it could
decision.
Be, it's unfair. It might be wrong, but it's definitely possible when Xander Bogaerts comes back, they plug him in at second base more often than not.
Yeah, and they move Donovan Solano to the bench.
Correct.
Even if Donovan Solano's hitting 300.
Because I've watched professional sports a lot, and I know how it works, whether you think it's right or not. Professional sports, this word's come up a little bit with the Olympics with Caitlin Clark. Sometimes it's a meritocracy, it's earned. Other times it is not. Sometimes first-round picks get more chances to fail than 40th-round picks. Guys that make $28 million a year get inserted into the starting lineup more than guys that make $600,000 a year.
But if Xander Bogaerts was Caitlin Clark,
and
Donovan Solano was like whoever else on the women's basketball U.S.
Diana
team.
Taurasi.
No, because she's a legend. Just like a rando player that nobody knows about.
Randos.
I don't think there's a lot of players that people know about on that team.
Okay, but they're good.
But just say, okay, from your standpoint, you're like, okay, so that means Caitlin Clark should be on. Anyway, I'm getting a whole nother weeds situation here.
Wait, what? I see what you're. I'm saying the last thing that would surprise me is Xander Bogaerts, who got a $280 million deal, plays when he comes back.
Look, it's like Dave used the analogy of, you go with the date you brought to the dance.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine unless you paid $300 million for your date. Then you're taking that date to the dance.
Does the same theory apply to Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish over the years? If they struggle, they lose their spot, or if they get hurt, they lose their spot? No.
But there's nobody that they're like looking at their spot that's performing way better than them.
Well, sure there is. I'll use Joe Musgrove would be a good example. Let's say they go out and get starting pitching. They add to the rotation. Matt Waldron's got a 3.5. Michael King's got a 3.5. Joe Musgrove gets his spot back. Somebody's the odd man out.
Well, pitching's different. I'm talking about position players.
I see. I agree. Like
whoever his replacement is would just have to be going ballistic in order for them to not even consider
which
it.
is who Solano's been a very consistent contributor.
I mean, like he's got to hit like 340 and just keep hitting home runs and just do something that's just like, look, dude, there's no way we can sit this guy on the bench.
He's hitting 313 with 3 home runs and an 848 OPS this year.
It's been incredible. Now, 2 of those home runs were today, which is terrific. And he's been terrific. And I've sung his praises. I have said AJ Preller's pickup of Donovan Solano is significant.
Very.
Just like Jeremiah Estrada, just like the trades for Luis Ariz and Dylan Cease. Significant moves that have bolstered this team.
And if for the next month and a half, Donovan Solano keeps it up and say, Xander's about to return and it's like 2 weeks here, and Donovan Solano has a really rough stretch for 2 weeks, then Donovan Solano did his job holding down the fort.
The gap.
And he bridged the gap to when Xander gets back. You just hope Xander performs.
Remember this.
It's like, I'm just saying, if we get to that point, it's going to be a discussion for sure.
No, it's a great discussion. I'm glad you brought it up. I'd like to get our listeners' reactions to it. 877-767-4760 or 70470. Start it with the word team. But consider this as well. Baseball has a funny way of working itself out. Like there's a decent chance this just gets figured out because that's what happens over the course of 162 games.
My only thing is, I would say, how can you bench him after he's been christened?
Donnie Barrels.
He is Donnie Barrels.
He's Donnie Barrels.
True.
Yeah.
But Xander's X.
It's like being knighted. Who cares? It's not as
when
good.
You get a
Donnie Barrels.
When you get a nickname from Schulte to add to Brent's Schulte wall, like Brent said, you get knighted.
Dude, he gave a nickname
Donnie Barrels
to Nicky.
is great. That's he could, that's a mob nickname.
Dude, he gave a nickname to Nick Ahmed.
Donnie Barrels.
Nicky.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We continue to react to a Padres sweep, their first of the year, plus Jim's back page. Plus, we're giving away Third Eye blind tickets coming up. Stay with us. All right, so imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt free. No credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen because homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home, and you can use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value, it's way up. You could use that to wipe out all those credit cards, maybe use some money for home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips. Approval is minutes away. Here's the number to call. 619-207-4336. You can call now. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
This update is brought to you by Macy's. Rays walk-off win today versus the Oakland A's, their first sweep of the season. Jackson Merrill hit a walk-off home run off the Oakland A's saver, Mason Miller, in the bottom of the ninth inning. Saver. Padres have an off day tomorrow before they start a road trip in New York versus the Mets on Friday. Moving over to the NBA. Tip-off moments away in Dallas, Game 3 between the Celtics and the Mavericks. Celtics have a 2-0 series lead there. And sad news in the NBA today is the legend, the logo, Jerry West, passed away at the age of 86. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with the Macy's Gift Finder. In just a couple clicks, you'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
What do they do with Xander Bogaerts when he does return? If you want to weigh in, 70470, start it with team. 877-767-4760. If you want to call us, we'll give away sold-out blind tickets within the next 10 minutes. We have Jim's backstage still ahead. So much excitement about the Padres. There's very few things that would prevent me from talking about a non-conference tournament involving San Diego State, but a walk-off on back-to-back days would.
Yes, it would.
But this is now officially official. This NIL tournament has a website.
Ooh.
The Players Era Tournament has a website. San Diego State is in this field.
That is nice.
This is a nice website. The Aztecs apparently are going to open this 3-game MTE, multiple team event, against Texas A&M. They'll either play Creighton or Oregon, and then potentially Alabama or Houston or Rutgers or Notre Dame. This is year one of the event. San Diego State reportedly is committed for 3 years, Jim. In 2025, the field for this event, where each team is going to get $1 million for their collective, will also include Gonzaga, Syracuse, Michigan, and St. John's. They're in St. John's.
Oh, yeah.
So
the Johnnies.
It's 8 teams in 2024. It'll be 18 teams. I don't even know the math on that.
That's awesome.
18 teams in 2025. San Diego State reportedly is in it, not just in 2024, but the 2 years after that as well.
This is in Vegas, correct?
This will be in Vegas.
Cool.
Location TBD, T-Mobile, MGM Garden, MGM Grand.
This thing's going to T-Mobile, man.
Yeah, T-Mobile's a great location for it, but there's some big buildings. There's some big arenas in Vegas. There's a few options.
It's got to go to T-Mobile, right? It's like perfect location. I mean, it's just it's the spot. It's the place to go. But I'm excited. That's pretty cool. I know I saw your tweet today, this morning, and I thought, depending on how things go today, like this could be a big talking point for us. But of course, Jackson Merrill with the walk.
He had other ideas.
He did. He's like, hey, you guys are going to be talking about this. But it's great to see the Aztecs in this tournament. It's great to see this thing, getting finalized here. It's great to see a matchup being, announced, because this is a huge, regardless of what they do in this tournament, every team getting $1 million for their NIL, that's massive.
And especially, I would say, for a program like San Diego State, where, the Kentuckys and the Kansases, they have the NIL funds, right? Where they're not going to operate solely based maybe on it. Listen, I think $1 million matters for all these programs. That's why you're seeing high-profile programs. But for San Diego State specifically, I think Mason Foundation's done a hell of a job.
How much money did they raise? Almost 200.
Well, they had a matching gift where that matching campaign raised nearly $600,000. Plus, they had additional.
They raised
plus the $1 million. I don't know what the numbers. I don't. But the collective. I mean, if you throw another $1 million on top, the $1 million range the upcoming season, so it's significant. But again, you're talking about schools like Arkansas, Kansas, Kentucky. It's like almost like they have unlimited range.
It's a good amount. Say, make up a number. Say 2.7 million.
2 million, whatever.
Yeah. That's like, it's like chunk change for like Texas or Kentucky.
Yeah, maybe. I guess it is, but in the Mountain West, for San Diego State, I think it's a differentiator between and I don't know what you collectively but you push another $1 million on top if you're San Diego State, and I think it puts you in a really favorable spot.
Like, how much did Grateful Sport get from Washington?
2.2. Arguably the most ever.
There you go.
Right. No, it's great.
Like, if you had a collective NIL of around 3 million, maybe just pushing 3 million, one player on Washington's making 2.2.
It is interesting. It is interesting. But again, reportedly, Thanksgiving week, San Diego State will play 3 games, $1 million collective. If they win this event, another $1 million for the collective. All right, Jim's Back Page is coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Padres with a sweep today. Completing that sweep against the A's, walking off. Jackson Merrill multi-home run game off Mason Miller, the walk-off winner, 5-4.
Sweep it is.
Sweep it is. And now you're
Series versus the A's.
And here's the thing. We say, well, yeah, they're playing teams with bad records, but then again, they're not taking advantage of it. Well, they did now. They beat a team with a bad record. Guess what? Next team up, bad record team. New York Mets are 9 games under 500 playing right now.
And you heard Jackson Merrill when he spoke to maybe tonight after the walk-off mention, like, hey, we haven't had a sweep this year. Wanted to get this. That's something that was in, I think, the back of their heads here. Definitely. It's like, get this over with, guys. Like, get a sweep. So we're not going out through the entire season wondering when's they're going to sweep. And then whenever you have an opportunity to sweep, you start thinking about it more and more and more. And then, like last year, where it got to the final series of the year before they got a win in extra innings, you don't want to wait till like the final series of the year this year to get a sweep, unless it's you sweep and you're in type of thing. But still, you get my point.
Because I think now, to your point, everyone knew the second they were in extras or a 1-run game, they're like, oh, we're going to lose. And this year was like, hey, the second we've won the first game or two of the series, oh, we can't complete a sweep. Now that's over and done with. And it's over and done with not in September, like you said, the last series of the year.
Yeah, we're in June.
It's June. It's fine. No one on the Padres is going to be thinking about, man, we didn't earn a sweep until, because now it's done.
So what is now left for them to stop thinking about so much?
So they beat left-handed pitching the last 2 days. They've won at home.
Boom check.
They've won at night.
Boom check. They swept.
They swept someone.
Boom check.
They beat a quote-unquote bad team.
Boom check.
What do they still need to prove? I mean, a lot. They're 37 to 35. But what is the kryptonite that they still need to respond to? I still think left-handed pitching. I still think left-handed pitching is a problem.
Because today it's like they had 1 run until the what?
They had 2 solo homers,
like
off the starter.
Right.
Yesterday they scored 3 runs off the lefty starter, but it was because the starter didn't cover first.
Right. They didn't like blow out these left-handed starters.
Now you know who they're facing on Friday.
Another lefty.
You know who it is?
Sean Manaea.
Old friend.
Yeah.
Who's been awful his last 2 times out. His numbers are okay, but his last 2 times out, I looked it up, he's been awful.
Well, I mean, if he's actually trying, that might be bad news for the Padres.
Right. Didn't he said after 2022, I was like, yeah. I'm glad you're pitching in game 5 for the national championship.
Go right ahead. Serve it up, buddy.
Good job. Day off the New
I don't know. I think they still need to be more consistent at home. Like they had a really, really good homestand here. 5-2 homestand. That's the best of the year by far.
Yeah.
I think they're still under 500 at home, but it's
definitely.
It's inching towards that turning around here.
They're going to finish over 500 home. They just do.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
And they did last year.
And I am in the I am in the category of
500 at home.
I'm in the category of like I need to see it
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. And they're showing it. Just now, can you show it for a long period of time? Like for, I don't know, 2 months?
They've played half their home games. 18-21, 39.
Wow.
Of 81. They're 18-21. So absolutely within reach of 500. 19-14 under.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if the record comes back to earth. If they continue to play that level of baseball on the road. They got swept the last series on the road versus the Angels, who actually had
their last
team meeting, by the way, for playing bad baseball.
Was it about their sweep of the Padres?
Remember when we swept the Padres?
Let's do that.
We should do that. Continue to do that, guys.
All right. Who wants 2 free tickets to see Third Eye Blind in about a week? June 21st. Semi-Charmed Life, right, Brent? Wish you could step off from that ledge.
Yeah,
my friend.
2 free tickets, Third Eye Blind, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, June 21st. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Caller 5, they are yours. 877-767-4760. Pick up your phone and call now. We have 2 free tickets. Next week's show, Third Eye Blind, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, 877-767-4760. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. One more time, 877-767-4760. Jim's Back Page is next. All right, Jim's back page. That comes your way next. All right, NBA Finals underway in Dallas at this hour. No Kristaps Porzingis for Boston. It is the Mavs early lead, needing a win on their home floor to essentially make the series. Right? Only 2 games tonight. So we'll be watching this tonight. Right? We'll be watching this. I have been watching a show. Jim didn't care, but it is a very good show put on with Bryan Cranston. It has been real. Actually, we're not going to do just that. Let me tell you about the show. This is a. I'm saying Jim's gonna watch this and we pretend like it's 3 months. Oh my gosh! I can't believe the 5th episode. It was crazy. Very good show. You should watch it. Way to sell it. I don't know what happens.
What channel is it on?
I think it's on Netflix. I think
It's on Netflix. You watch this show like it's
This
great show ever.
definitely is a Marty's TV list. You're supposed to tell us where we watch
it's
these
Netflix.
things.
It might be Amazon Prime, but I think it's Netflix. But the premise is like he's a judge, so he's like,
Your Honor.
yeah, he's a judge, but then he's got to make some bad decisions. Even though he's honorable on the stand. It's a very good show.
Okay.
Check it out. Stay tuned for that.
Okay.
All right, let's get to something that you want to hear about.
John, would you want to go to Deadpool and Wolverine world premiere in New York?
No.
Okay. Brent, would you like to go to the Deadpool and Wolverine world premiere in New York?
Sure.
Okay. Well, if you would like to go to the Deadpool and Wolverine world premiere in New York, the red carpet and all.
We have tickets?
No. Right now, there is a sweepstakes to do that. All you got to do is sign up. And the website is the Deadpool and Wolverine worldwide sweepstakes.disneyplus.com. And the perks here are you get 2 tickets to the world premiere, a 2-night hotel accommodations, $500 in cash, a round trip coach airfare and ground transportation.
Coach. 500
Eh.
bucks. It's
fine.
scared to give 1,000.
Round trip transportation upon arrival and departure. Ground transportation to and from the hotel and the world premiere. All you got to do is sign up with your name, phone number, email address, and you're in.
How many people win? One? My point is the odds of winning that
are very low.
Exactly.
Yes. You can enter now until June 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. One entry per person. And the world premiere will obviously happen in mid to late July. So,
obviously.
Because that's when the movie gets.
Everyone knows that.
Goes out in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Okay. Did you enter?
Not yet. But I will.
Okay.
All right. Moving along here. Let's just pull this up. Tonight at midnight, John.
Okay.
Do you watch The Boys?
Who?
Okay. Brent, you don't watch The Boys.
What is it?
It's a TV show on Amazon, and it's probably one of my favorite shows to date.
Yeah, it's great.
You just said the same thing about a show no one cares about.
No, my show's way better than Boys.
The Boys.
Oh.
The Boys season 4 premieres tonight at midnight with their first 3 episodes releasing on Amazon Prime. They have announced that season 5, so not this season, but season 5 will be the final season of The Boys. Ooh. The first 3 seasons have been pretty damn near perfect, in my opinion.
Wow. Now, is this midnight Eastern?
It's midnight Eastern, so
9 o'clock.
Our time, 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. And finally, Brent made a good point. He thinks that this was all a play and all promotion for what Netflix announced today, which is a Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi unfinished beef, the ultimate hot dog eating competition, will air live on Netflix Monday, September 2nd.
Wow. So we found out yesterday he's not going to be in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. The next day, we learned about a Netflix live 1v1.
1v1 versus Kobayashi.
That's a little
fishy, if you ask me.
I agree.
Netflix released
my beer, Dan Hurley.
They released this statement. Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi are going to compete in a winner-takes-all hot dog eating contest live on Netflix on Labor Day, September 2nd. The 16-time hot dog eating champion Chestnut will face off against rival and 6-time hot dog eating champion Kobayashi for the first time in 15 years.
But doesn't he have no shot, Kobayashi? Because Chestnut is
no shot.
Yeah.
No freaking shot.
Because he's kind of like retired and Chestnut's been winning and
all about
Kobayashi used to win.
It's all about the name recognition and the money. And Netflix continuing to do live
they've been doing some events, right?
Like they were supposed to do the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson event. I think it was next month. They had to reschedule it till November.
Mm-hmm.
I know
they got NFL Christmas Day.
They had NFL Christmas Day. They got WWE going to their Netflix here.
Tom Brady roast.
The Tom Brady roast was live.
They had a Cat Williams live thing.
Which, I mean, effectively they are making cable television even more irrelevant every single day. They just start doing live events.
That's true. It's true.
And when it goes live, the second it's over, it's like on your front of your
right. So you could just watch it back immediately.
Yeah, it's the Netflix show.
I think that's a good idea. Honestly, forget the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Watch this. Yeah, I can watch that.
You'll get way bigger ratings for this than the
Nathan's.
Nathan's.
Yeah. Especially with that Joey Chestnut.
Exactly.
Is Kobayashi in the Nathan's or no?
No, he retired.
Forget about it.
Nobody.
I agree. All right, tomorrow's Padres off day. What could go wrong? We'll be here at 3 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. Getting you ready for that Mets series. If you missed anything today, sports.com or iHeartRadio app or TuneIn Radio or Spotify. If you're listening to us on podcast, please leave a review.